welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today we have a realistic branded linear tracker. Now, this one is the LAB-2000. I actually used to own a LAB-2100, which is identical. Don't understand the branding. Perhaps it had something to do with the model year that it was released. Anyway, this was at a time when linear trackers were starting to make a little bit of inroads, and Radio Shack sold quite a few of these actually. I'm pretty sure this one is a CEC branded model because it's a little bit different than some of the Techniques and Pioneers of the era. This one actually has a long tone arm, and it does not have the mechanism inside the dust cover, which I think is a plus because you can actually lift the dust cover on this one and listen to a record and not worry about any kind of resonance going through the plastic cover. So, this thing is very heavy. It's really, really well built. It's one of the better built linear trackers of the day. And it's not as small as some of the Techniques ones where they say it's about the size of an LP. This one is a little bit bigger, not a whole lot bigger, but it's got some weight and girth to it. And it's a nice deck. All the controls are on the front. It is a direct drive, so no belt to deal with here. Fully automatic with complete logic controls on the front, pitch control, and it's obviously a P mount. Yeah, this one has a Shure mounted cartridge on it. So what I am going to do to save some time, as you saw in the opening shot there, the arm has issues and the motor's making all sorts of weird sounds. So undoubtedly the drive belt is shot now. Chances of me having a drive belt are very, very minimal. Believe it or not, I am still waiting for the drive belt on that last Techniques SL3 I did. It is taking the slow boat from Portugal in this sense, in this case, because yeah, I ordered it a while ago. What was that? I'm thinking over a month now, and off of eBay. It was $20, but it's still not here. It's really disappointing. What I've done in the meantime, which I'm probably going to preview what I'm going to do in this one, is I'm probably going to do a cheat, which I do on a low-cost repair. When people, basically tell me they don't want to spend any money on a deck. And I've been known to do this. I will take a belt like this, which is not the correct size, and I'll do the fold over like this. I'll double it up and I'll put it down. And believe it or not, on that SL3, it is working fine with this in the meantime. But the owner wants the original belt, so that's why I'm waiting for it. But for this one, the owners told me, do not spend more than you have to. Just get it running. It's this kid's deck, as you can see from all these stickers here. So anyway, yeah. So in this case, we just might have to do that, unless I get something that fits. So remove your platter and platter mat. Take off these screws to remove this metal plate. Then there's another little plate here that has to come out. Just take that out. Now you turn the turntable over, remove the screws, and then turn the turntable on, move the arm to this position, because this whole top plinth is going to lift off. All right, I'm going to do that. Okay, I have removed all the screws on the bottom that hold the plinth. And now you've got a few screws from the top. This should be loose, and it is. So now you need to turn it on, and you need to move the arm over, which is easier said than done if your arm doesn't want to move like this one. So just move it all the way over and then shut off the power. If you have to force it, just force it. Don't worry about it. Shut off the power. Grab the whole top and pull it out. Okay? That's what you're going for, okay? here we are. As you can see, this is a well-built and designed linear tracker. Unplug. You get your direct drive motor here. Ooh, that needs some lube. You can't put the arm back. This will function perfectly fine like this. Actually, should we put it back? Yeah, let's put it back. You can see how it's running too. Keep your fingers out of here. This is live energy here. All AC power. Stay out. You can hear the motor struggling. This puppy does not want to work. Must be gummed up grease, so I'm thinking. Come on, baby. Okay, this one needs several pushes to get it going. We'll put it back. Yeah, there's no lubrication left on the rails. The motor's still spinning here, which it shouldn't be. So it hasn't tripped. There we go. Okay, we're shutting this down. We're unplugging it. I don't want to get killed here. And first thing we'll do here is, well, let's service the main bearing here on the motor. We'll zoom in a little bit. Just like any other direct drive motor, grab a hold of it, pull, okay, and start your cleaning. You'll need some isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel for the axle here. I'm just going to remove any of the old lube on there. Okay. Factory used an oil here, so we'll be replacing with an oil. But even if it was a grease, you'd be replacing with an oil because I prefer oil to grease on spindle bearings. Okay, alcohol and a Q-tip. Just going to remove whatever remains of the lubricant. Ooh, that's kind of gummy. I'll just suck up some of the old stuff first. Ooh, yeah, that's really gummy. Although this video is probably going to come out a few days after I do this, I would think, by the time I edit it and all the rest of it. Today is November the 11th. And in Canada, we observe Remembrance Day at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And we stop to remember those who died in the service of their country. And we used to get today's a Saturday, we used to get it as a national holiday, but they took that away, which I don't understand. Now, I get a lot of people don't observe Remembrance Day, but you know, those who did die for our freedoms should be remembered in the service of their country. So if you're out and about today, even though this is probably well after the fact, I hope that you either pulled your car over at 11 o'clock for a minute or two and took the time to remember those who died for our freedoms. Thanks. Okay, so our bearing is clean, and I'm pretty sure it's dry, but I'm just going to check it. You want to make sure all the alcohol is gone, because if you do put, you know, fresh oil in here, you're going to dilute it, right? So that's not good. Okay, lubrication wise, just 3-in-1 motor oil, engineered for motors, electric motors. Okay, don't use the regular 3-in-1. Just a few drops in there. And I like to put a little bit on the axle. And then drop her down. Boy, that went in kind of fast. You can put a little bit more. All right. That's it. Lubricated motor. That's about the only service point as far as the motor's concerned here. Now we'll work on the actual mechanism here. Now I'm going to get this into frame. Like that. Pretty good? Okay. All right, so if I remember correctly, this lifts. Yes, it does. Which gives you good access. Actually, if you can remove this cable. I don't remember if you can or not. No, that one doesn't come off. Ah, shucks. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to need to face it this time, just because of the way this is oriented. I can't work backwards on this one. Yeah, get that back into frame like that. Okay. All right, good enough. Well, this belt doesn't scream quality. It's way too small. Where does this go? Does that go all the way? No, it is this, right? Is it? No, it's not, unfortunately. I'm not going to lift the board. I'm just going to have to do this like this. Clean both those rails. All right, to clean those rails, you can remove them if you want. It's a little bit more work on this one. You definitely remove this one. All right, let's remove the front. Well, the front one's really not that important. The front one doesn't go through. Ah, damn. Decisions. I can't spend a lot of money on this one. I don't care. I'm sorry. You know, I know I'm going to spend a little bit more time, but this needs to be done. I'm going to move this arm over. I can't let the turntable go like that. No, I took the belt off. Duh. Although this belt is complete crap. Come on, baby. There we go. Ugh. The belt has absolutely no traction. Okay, I'm just going to go there. I have to be really careful with this one. And I'm going to need my ratchet set, so pause, I'll be right back. There's nothing worse than when a customer says they don't want to spend any money on something. When they say that, I try to keep the repair at under an hour of my time, because anything over an hour becomes a loss for me, right? I mean, yeah, I get to shoot a video, but That doesn't make up for the time I spend, right? But in the interest of getting this done correctly, I am not gonna cheap out on this and not get it done right. Well, that kind of sucks. All right, so what you want to do is remove the nuts on both sides of the rails here, which is almost impossible over here because this pulley is blocking my access to it. Kind of frustrating. They're not on that tight that you can use a pair of pliers like this. I'm always worried about this string. Like I said in the past, these things are bloody overcomplicated. And there's a lot of moving parts just to get an arm to do, what a typical radial arm would have done, right? So, okay, so those are released. Now what we need to do is we need to get this bracket off. I really didn't need my socket set. Got a couple screws here. You guys seeing that okay? Yeah. I think we can just remove the right bracket. Lift and there's one rail. Now this other one is a little more difficult because the cables attached to this one. I don't want to stretch it. It's not going to come out unless I remove this, and you know what? I am so afraid to do that. Do I do it? Okay, I'm going to do it. This has now become a money-losing operation. Because time is money. But, oh well, in the interests of education, I guess, we shall do it. I don't like doing that. Maybe what I can do is I'll just pull this rail out and then put it back. There's the back rail. And just kind of put a screw back here. Like all the tension's been released off the mechanism now. I'm just gonna put that back on. Ah, shit, there we go. It's kind of like a dial string for a tuner on a receiver. You just don't want to mess with them if you don't have to, right? I think we'll be okay though. There, stay. Okay, I think we're going to be fine. All right, this requires a lot of alcohol. What we're going to do is clean both these rails. just like that. Just clean off the grease. Barely any left on here anyway, so. Okay, there's the back one. Here's the front one. And these 3 rubber parts go on the side towards the right side. I'll just leave them there. Just cleaning that off. There's all the dirt and grime. Okay, just put that back. Now, you also need to clean the bearing where these things ride. Now, there's 2 bushings on either end, so just clean those with a Q-tip with some alcohol, because they'll be full of grease. It's not like it's an entire bushing that goes all the way through here. It's just on the ends. So you just want to get in there and clean the metal bushing on either side. Because you want to give that belt a chance. It's not going to have much of a chance to move if, there goes our, excuse my head. I'll put that back in a minute. All right. We'll put our front rail back on. We might as well just move this over now since it's already... Now the front rail doesn't go through anything. It's just the drive mechanism has 2 plastic slides, and they just slide on this. So you don't need a tremendous amount of lube on the front one. So just put this back there. Now this one has to go through. If you were smart, you'd remove your stylus. This wire is pissing me off. Okay. Our rails are back. We need to get our cable back, which is going to be fun once we tighten it. I'm going to try and wrap it around first, like that. Yeah, you're a bastard, aren't you? I knew this was going to be a nightmare. I'm not going to pause this. You're going to see me struggle with this. Okay, I'm going to button this down. Okay, stay. Has a tendency to want to kick out. Just need to get it buttoned down and there. Okay. Now, there's a little spring on this side. It should give me enough, hopefully, to stretch this over. I hope. Maximum stretchage here. There. Okay. Put our bumpers back. And put our retaining clip back. All right, I'm just going to plug it in real quick just to see if we're moving okay. Yeah, and we are, thankfully. And just from the look of it, it's already moving better because we've got a pretty weak ass belt there, and yeah, it's not working that great, but definitely doesn't want to move. But it's working a little bit better, which is good. This is really bugging me, this wire here. It almost feels like it needs more slack. Really driving me nuts. Contains the audio cables and the motor cables, and it just seems like it's in the worst possible spot ever. I'm lifting this board. I'm turning the power off so I don't get killed. Okay, money losing? Oh god, yeah. Where the hell? Okay, I need some more slack than that. Get it? Okay, that's the audio cable. And it does come back up here, for Christ's sakes. don't know why they're attached there. They have to come out here. Have to come out there. All right. Let's button it down again. People wonder why I don't like linear trackers. Damn it. They just, they're so complicated. And they do require quite a bit of service. Just putting the board retaining screws back in. It's nothing exciting. Like to find the bloody hole. Okay, our board is back. I've got a little bit more slack now, which I like. Now, we'll put our, that's the other thing. You got to keep moving this arm over, right? To get nuts and screws back. And this is the only one I can do with the actual nut driver. All the other ones are inaccessible. So you're going to have to hand crank them with a wrench or a pair of pliers or something. But like I said, they're you don't need a lot of torque on them. These rails aren't going anywhere anyway. So you get a little twist on them, right? Just to torque it down. That's it. Okay, now this belt is a piece of crap. It's way too small. I know I'm not going to have anything. So, I'm thinking, unless something like this, no, too small, too thick. Let's see about, actually, while we're here, we'll drop the oil on the motor. And I probably have the same size belt, actually. Try a new one. And I'm gonna clean where the belt rides, just in case there's some grease there or oils. We'll clean the motor pulley as well. Just gonna clean the motor pulley here. Any oils and greases. Same with the plastic pulley here. Get that clean. You see there's a little bit of gunk on there. It's funny, I have the exact same belt in my It's not the right belt. That's the problem. It's a let's see how that works. Oh, that's a little better, I think. How's that? Still doesn't want to move past that central point there. What you're looking at there is the basic schematics of where the wire rope goes, and I had to have a look at that because as I thought, when I put it back, I actually twisted the two wires. So we're just going to come down here. So there's your wire. It goes around that pulley. And this part, this end on this side attaches to the tone arm. And the other side here just runs freely, sorry for the focus there, around the pulley and back. What happens is when I put it back, I had twisted them. And that's why I was getting stuck halfway through, because the twist was going. I had to release the main cable here from the board and able to flip this up. So this flips up like that, which is kind of nice. Gives you an opportunity to look underneath and see what's going on under there. You can see all the thousands of things going on under there. Here's our two bushings I was talking about. Okay, so you only need to clean those. And the front rides on that pad and there. And that, when you put this down, they ride. So that's why the front doesn't need a ton of lubrication. You can just put a little bit of synthetic grease there and there just to keep it running. But the back, it needs to be lubed because it goes through a couple bushings. All right, let's get back up on the pedestal. I am doing a couple back and forth here. I have put a drop of Singer sewing machine oil in the bushings on either side. This is a very light machine oil. I did not lubricate the rail. I just lubricated the bushings, and I'm letting the bushings lubricate the rail. It's moving real nice. Super smooth. And I'm not going to lubricate the front at all. Those plastic runners are very slick on their own. This is super clean. I'm pretty pleased with what is going on here. I've put the same kind of belt. I'm going to throw this in the garbage. Put the same kind of belt back. I cleaned it. It seems to be working okay. It's not the correct belt, but like I said, I'm not ordering a belt. It's going to cost 20 bucks for the stupid belt, and who knows when it's going to get here. So we're going to button this puppy up, and then we'll give it a sound test. I think that's all the servicing that is required here. So let me get everything back together here, and we'll give her a sound test. Okay, it's all back together. Clean the stylus, which is fairly new. We will turn it on, and we're going to see where the needle lands. There's a couple adjustment points here for where the needle lands and where it leads out. So let's see how we're doing. Okay, a little bit of power on the amplifier. Set that to phono. And press play. That's not bad. Good sound on both channels, which is great. I'm just going to watch the tracking a little bit here. It is moving. Queuing. Does seem to want to move to the left. That might need an adjustment. if I let go of it, it seems to naturally want to drift back. So there is an adjustment for that. We're just tracking correctly. I'm going to have to, what I mean by that is when I cue it, see this arm should stay there so it doesn't move, because as it pushes forward or to the left, forward is to the left and then back is to the right, it will move the arm. But it doesn't seem to be going naturally to the right unless it's down. So I'm going to have to check the service manual for an adjustment, and that's just a screw on the tone arm itself. So we're not quite done here as far as this one's concerned. Just want to see how the lead out works. It's tracking well though. It's not lifting. So it needs a little bit more of an adjustment. Well, we're into it now. I've got the arm in the play position. As you can see, I've taken it apart again. Now, I don't have the service manual for the 2000. I'm using the service manual for the 2100, and it is a little different. The motor board is slightly different, but I think it's roughly the same idea. There is an adjustment of the tracking sensor. Now, on the 2100s, it says to set a digital voltage meter to DC, 20 volt range. I've just got that on auto ranging. Connect plus to TP01 and ground to TP104. Now, I don't even have a TP101 or a 104. I have a TP3 and a TP7. And I do not have a VR102. I have a VR101. But I think it's roughly the same idea. I've connected positive to TP3 and I've connected negative to TP7. Here's our VR101. And what it says is when you move the arm to, right now we're at 0 volts. Okay, we're at 155 millivolts, which is nothing. If I move the arm slightly to the left, you'll see the voltage go up. See, it's at 4 in that position there. And what they want is they want 4.3 to 4.5 when this is pushed all the way. As you can see, I'm getting 3.2 and 3.5. All right. So I'm going to try and adjust that to 4. I'm hoping it's going to be the same as the 2000. I don't think we're going to kill anything by doing this, but I'm just going to move it over. And we'll adjust this. I'm just going to give it a little shot here, see how that does. 3 points, that's less now. Okay, there's 4.6. We get 4.6, 4.5. So the problem with this is when I hit queuing, the arm raises up. See how it's sitting in a slight position. It's pulling the arm back. I can stop it, and the motor will continue to spin. But it really should be in a position where it's 0 volts, right? It should be there, not there. So I'm thinking there must be an adjustment somewhere on here that keeps this in a steady position that's not moving the arm backwards. That's a problem because it's basically bringing it back to the home position. And if it goes all the way back, like it's doing right now, see, it's reached home and it's going to shut off. So if you hit the queuing on this thing, and let's say you walk away to get a cup of coffee, when you come back, your record's going to be done playing and the arm's going to be back in the home position. So I'm going to keep fiddling with this because I don't know if you watch Star Trek Next Generation, Captain Riker used to tell or ask Captain Picard in one episode, It's a second season episode. Sorry, my nerdiness is coming through, where Data is talking to a little girl on a planet that's going through volcanic eruptions. Can't think. Pen Pals, it's called. And Riker keeps asking Picard, "How far are we in?" And Picard gives him the the signal. One time it's at his chest, and then it's above his head, and that's where I am right now. I'm above the head. This is now a money-losing operation, so I might as well just keep going and see if I can get it going. Anyway, we'll pause and come back. We're back again. All right, continuing to read through this service manual, and I'm pretty sure the tone arm is the same as the 2100 as on the 2000 here. There is an adjustment screw here, and it talks about we're talking about the tracking sensor again, but there is something about the linearity of the vertical drop. So we have to maintain linearity, and what that means is we want this, even in the queuing position, to be straight, not on an angle like it is, right? I believe this screw here is the ticket. I'm just going to turn it off for a second here. It says to lift the tone arm by hand, release and check linearity of the vertical drop. In order to align the linearity of vertical movement of the tone arm within the limit, adjust the eccentric shaft 1. Eccentric shaft, which is in here, right here. Oh my God, is that broken? Maybe that's the problem. No, maybe not. Yes, this is broken. There's our problem. This will adjust the arm position, and it's busted. Shit. It's right here. This should be a screw like this, and there's nothing left. Now, I don't know if we can move this into a position where it's... Get it into play position here. Q. Let's try adjusting this screw over here. I'm going to adjust this, the eccentric shaft tracking sensor adjustment here. I don't know if this helps or not. That might have helped. Okay, stop. Q. Hey, it did help. But I don't understand what has happened here with this one. Does this need to be, like the photo in the service manual shows it near the bottom like this? Okay, I'm going to try something here. Zoom out a little bit. Put our stylus back on. Get our test record. There'll be no sound here. We're just going to check for tracking. Probably should do this the first time. Oh yes, that is so much better. Q. How's our queuing? Queuing's good. So let's queue and queue. Just gonna lift this a little higher because I did touch it before. I definitely want that a little bit higher because it had the springy action here. Better. Okay. Q. All right, at least it's not moving back anymore. So when I hit queuing, it stays in position, which is good. Let's see if we can get our lead out here. Oh yeah, that really helped. Okay, I think we're okay. Play. It's dropping in a good spot. I'm going to turn the amp on. We'll hit stop again. I'm obviously not going to put it back in its case, but I'm just going to show you that it is working now. Play. Oh, I unplugged it. Oh, sump pump. Sump pump season here again. Let's plug it in. Don't All right, let's try this again. Ready? Go. Play, baby. Wow, look at that. She's working, so I can cue it now. It's not going to go back home. There we go. Lead out. And a record and back home. Oh boy. There you go. Another linear tracker repaired. So, if you in fact have one of these, be prepared to service it and absolutely get the service manual. If you have the 2000, you're going to have to work your way around the 2100. Whether or not the adjustment of the voltage mattered, I mean, I'm hoping that it's the same. I mean, I don't see any noticeable difference between how it was operating before, other than the fact that we're queuing correctly now, which is nice. We did change the belt. We lubricated our rails. We did all the service. We lubricated the motor. I'm putting this one to bed because I spent way too much time on this in real time, and I am not going to earn any kind of appreciable income from it. Hopefully YouTube pays on it. So anyway, guys, that's another one put to bed. We're going to say bye-bye to the realistic LAB-2000 direct drive linear tracking turntable. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next video. Bye-bye.